Boy, did I trigger some snowflakes on Friday, boy. Guys, today, actually, I'm going to be dropping 2 videos on this channel. What we're going to be talking about first is a video from Sleuthie Goosie, in which she has kind of an interesting theory. Now, I want to make this clear before we get into this. I don't subscribe to the Bryan Kohberger was the DoorDash driver theory. The reason I don't is because I believe the DoorDash driver is the killer. And I've said that several times, but we'll get into that because Sleuthie Goosie did drop a very interesting video, and I have to admit I'm very interested in the theory and the subject matter. So we're going to go ahead and react to this. This will be my first story of the day. Your next video won't be IDAHO 4 related, but it'll be to you later on. I'm recording this pretty early, so we're going to get this up and out. I'm thejbgunner. This is Crime Time. Let's get things started. Let's do it.
Bring it back.
Well, boy, it seems like I made all the limp wristers mad than a motherfucker on Friday, huh? And then y'all saw me take the videos down and you thought that I regretted them. I saw y'all's comments. No, y'all flagged them, and it was 18 and over, basically adults only, and I don't like them kind of things sitting on this channel. That's for my other channels. That's for my other platforms. This channel, I try to keep it, somewhat okay. So if a video gets flagged and it's 18 and older, typically I just remove it to keep it off my record, because I got a perfect record over here. You know what I'm saying? But from what I understand, I made some of the limp wristers and the leftists a little bit angry at me. Newsflash. I don't give a fuck about your mental disorder. I don't give a fuck if I made you mad or not. Anyway, you don't have to watch my videos. I'm just saying. I made my statement. I think people suing people on YouTube is gay as shit. It is what it is. I ain't gonna say nothing else about it. I'm just going to make my statement, and that's reality. I think we have an agenda in America, and I think many of you fall for it. End of story. I'm not changing my opinion because I see how soft you motherfuckers are sometimes. Anyway, you don't see me flagging channels. You don't see me suing people. Do you know why? Because I can go get pussy. I got shit to drink. I got meat to eat. I got hashtag no homo. I got. They're like, so do I, JB. Oh, fuck. Anyways, guys, before we get into this, I want to say first and foremost, thank you to everybody that supports the channel, regardless of the method you choose, whether it's Cash App, Patreon, Venmo, PayPal. Guys, truth is, I couldn't do this each and every day on any of my channels if it wasn't for you, the Gun Squad. Love you guys. Appreciate you so much. And if you too find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. Support the channel. And while you're down there, if you're not one of these snowflakes and you agree with this shirt, feel free to check out some of my other channels, my political channel, my live stream channel. If not, you can keep your ass right over here on the True Crime channel. No big deal. No big deal. No hard feelings. No hard feelings. You're the one all melting and shit. I'm doing just fine. Anyways, had an awesome weekend. I went to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge and hung out, did all kinds of interesting shit. Shout out to Tennessee, shout out to North Carolina. Good time up in the mountains as usual. I don't go anywhere but the mountains, occasionally the beach. You know how it goes. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. The beautiful Sleuthie Goosie has given us a theory video, and that's exactly what we're going to take. And you know what's funny? You know what's funny? Is you'll get some people also comment, how come when you go to the screen, you turn backwards? Well, listen, dummy. Listen, dummy, it's the way it works. So the mic goes over on this side because when I'm looking at the screen's right there. And if I was, let me show you, dummy, something. This is how you, hold on. This is essentially, hold on. God damn it. Flip me over. Well, I guess we're not going to get it done. There we go. So this is the way it really looks. And if we're over here, okay, I guess that does work, actually. When I'm looking up this way, that actually would work. That ain't too bad. Anyways, I do it for video gaming and different reasons. But either way, well, we'll stick like this. But usually, the crux of the video is way over here. So we're going to flip right back over here. And it is what it is. So you guys can be mad, be whatever you want. It's backwards. It is what it is. Deal with it, motherfuckers. Now, let's roll the fucking footage. Let's get things started. Oh, that's why. Because when I'm playing the game, I'm looking at that. Anyway, just continue on. It says, what if the killer was in the vehicle that was first seen in the neighborhood at 3:29 a.m.? I want to start off by saying this about this. And this is something that I've had I don't understand why more people don't remember the original timeline being between 3 and 4. I also don't understand why more people don't focus on the fact that the entire car was different than what they're saying it is now. And also, I don't understand why that people are not considering the DoorDash driver, the actual DoorDash driver, whether it's Kohberger or someone else, more of a suspect. Like, when you got a murder at 4 a.m. in someone's house, and you got proof that one motherfucker that don't belong there was there, like, how is the DoorDash driver not the number one suspect? I don't get it. But anyway, let's go ahead and get back to this. So what if the killer was in the vehicle that was first seen in the neighborhood at 3:29 a.m.? The one that had to have originated from the neighborhood in order to only pass the house 3 times. Pass number 1. Pass number 2. Now let me ask you a question. Serious question. If the car was seen in the neighborhood at 3:29, okay? Isn't the car that passed the gas station, wasn't that seen at 3:36 or 3:46 on its way out? Serious question. If that was the case and the white Elantra was the person that killed these motherfuckers, it makes no sense to me that the car is already seen in the neighborhood at 3:29, all right? And then ultimately seen passing the gas station at 3:45 or 3:46 or whatever it was. And for some reason, you still think that car is the motherfucker that was there at 4:07 or 4:04. Like, I'm struggling with this. Granted, I get it. Timeline fucks with me on this one. So I'm sure one of you will have a smart answer. Feel free to put in the comment section. But just to me, who would drive if I'm about to kill you? I ain't about to drive around your neighborhood, especially one that small, for a whole 30 minutes. Why would anyone in their right mind, especially someone that you claim had been there many times before, someone that had stalked the property, why would on the night of the murders, would I drive around here over and over for 30 minutes? Pass number 2. Then leave via Willenta Drive, pass number 3. Now keep in mind, that pass number 3, they're saying was at 4:25, right? 4:25 a.m. Perhaps the killer really did stake out their house, waiting for everyone to return home. So me and Sleuthie's a little off right here. I see what her, we'll focus on this. Then the DoorDash driver arrives and appears on camera for the first time at 4:04 a.m. There we go. This is actually where the theory gets good. What if it's Bryan Kohberger? Well, I'm going to answer your question. In my opinion, Sleuthie, if it's Bryan Kohberger committed this murder. I don't believe Bryan Kohberger committed this murder. But because I believe the DoorDash driver probably has a lot more to do with this murder than Bryan Kohberger, if it's revealed that somehow Bryan Kohberger is the DoorDash driver, I will switch completely and 100% believe that Bryan Kohberger is the killer. I don't currently believe that, But if he's the DoorDash driver, this is what, remember when, who's that crimey circus motherfucker, Drippity Drop? Anyway, when the Drippity Drop dude came out with the video asking if Kohberger was the DoorDash driver, I had the same reaction. My reaction is, I hope not, because if that's the case, remember, my belief in my last theory video where I said, who did it? My answer is the DoorDash driver. I don't care who got cleared and who didn't. If Kohberger is that DoorDash driver, I'm afraid he did it, my friend. But she's got a great theory. She's got a great theory. Oh, here we go. It says using the phone he bought specifically and only to use for deliveries. Now, here's why I'm going to say I disagree with you, okay? Bryan Kohberger was getting Venmo payments from mom and dad. Bryan Kohberger, believe it or not, was actually pretty goddamn broke. Anybody still getting Venmo payments from mom and dad at 28 years old is one of two things. Either broke or a Hillary voter or both at the same time. You get the point. About the same thing. Just being perfectly honest with you. Ain't no grown-ass man still getting Venmo. My parents and family didn't even know what the hell a Venmo was. I'm just being honest with you. Ain't no, but I'm 42. Like, to me, the thought of a 28-year-old man having 2 cell phones, but yet he's still borrowing money from mom and dad and shit, I ain't believing that. I ain't believing that. Shit, I make good money, and I should have 2 cell phones. Don't worry about it, mind your business. And I'm still not doing it. It just seems like a lot. This motherfucker ain't Kevin Gates. Not to give out during traffic stops. Which would explain why Brett Payne didn't know the number. And like I said, the reason I don't believe Kohberger had 2 phones is A, he's not Kevin Gates, and 2, he's broke. If you're doing DoorDash, let's say your theory's correct and he's doing DoorDash, you're broke as fuck. You're doing DoorDash and shit, you're probably broke. But granted, he's a college student, he's an intern or whatever the fuck he was. But ultimately, I get that. But if mom and dad are sending you Venmo, bro, you ain't got 2 phones. That's the truth. So Bryan Kohberger arrives with the food and drives around a bit, unsure where to go. Now, that's possible. I do believe that the car that they saw on camera, unsure of where to go, is the DoorDash driver. That's why I think the DoorDash driver is the killer. The DoorDash driver obviously struggled finding the house, and the cover for his murders is that he's the DoorDash driver. He was supposed to be there, right? Or where to knock. Or where to leave the food. So he chooses the front door. Now, this is where the theory gets pretty fucking good. This is where the theory starts to pull me in. I was sitting here cheering for Sleuthie Goosie, not just because she's sexy as shit, but because this is legit. This theory is convincing. So he chooses the front door, knocking repeatedly, no answer. Let me turn down this music. No one answered because the killer had already been in the house and took the lives of. So now we're getting to the theory. The killer was already in there, and there's many of you that agree with that. Because there's many of us, and even I suspected, that the killer could have already been in that house. Remember, they said that they believed the murders could have happened between 3 and 4. If they didn't change that story till later, once they got wrapped up with the white Elantra and shit. So it makes sense. So if the murders already happened and the chicks are dead, everybody's dead, and then here comes Kohberger or whoever the DoorDash driver is with the bags. Because listen, I do not believe if the DoorDash driver didn't do it, that the killer would see the DoorDash driver and be like, yeah, and still go in. I also believe that the killings happened maybe even before 3:30. The whole 4:04 to 4:25 thing, it seems too risky. If you're stalking the house, you know motherfuckers got food, there's already been a delivery, you know this shit. So the only way you would do the killing is if you're the DoorDash driver. Make sense? The repeated knocking catches the attention of Bethany in her room. Bam! Listen, this is good. She answers the door and takes the food from Bryan Kohberger. Ooh. Oh, now you're getting me. You're getting me. Because this is a hell of a theory. They're already dead. They're already dead. Now remember, what's her name said she heard someone say, someone's here. How does Dylan not know that the person saying someone's here wasn't Bethany? And Bethany heard the knocks and she said, fuck it, I'll go answer the door. This is after everybody's dead. She goes to the door and the DoorDash driver is Bryan Kohberger. Uh-oh, is this the exculpatory evidence? Holy fuck. Sleuthie? He gets back in his car, leaves, which she witnesses. She walks up the steps, half asleep. Hollers for Xana to get her food. And leaves the bag in the banister before turning around and going back downstairs to bed. Uh-oh. Now this is where the theory gets a little goofy. There's a little bit too much movement with the bag. Does that make sense? To me, it makes more sense. I mean, I guess that is possible. But when Brett Payne of the crime scene technicians arrive on the scene, they walk through the front door and head up the steps, which was said in the affidavit. Affidavit, of course. Seeing the bag of food on the banister, they put on gloves and place the bag on the table counter. And see, that's the part that doesn't make sense to me, all right? That's the part that doesn't make sense to me because unless you're completely corrupt, you're not going to be moving shit around crime scenes. Are we in agreement with that? You're not going to be just moving shit around crime scenes. I mean, he was inexperienced though, right? So, I mean, goddamn, it could be possible. But I doubt it. That's the only part I'm saying. They then go upstairs to the third floor where the sheath is discovered. God, she's hot. One of them, now this is good. This is really good. One of them touches the sheath with the same gloves used to touch the food bag. Oh. This is where it gets a little jiggy. That is a hell of a theory. But I have to admit, it's possible. And transfers a small amount of Bryan Kohberger's touch DNA onto the sheath. So now you get what she's saying, her theory? Kohberger was the DoorDash driver. His touch DNA is on the DoorDash bag. The same cop that picked up the DoorDash bag or cup or whatever the fuck was there could have possibly touched the sheath. I mean, granted, this is definitely a theory. It's just a theory. As I know some of you people get real weirded and freaked out. How dare you disrespect the victims? Well, by what? Theorizing? It's a good theory. Because nothing that the prosecution is saying or doing makes sense. It's a good theory. From the food bag. It's called cross-contamination. Show them, Sleuthie. Show them. Bam. Let's check it out. Limitations of touch DNA. Let's go ahead. Hence, there's a greater chance of detecting contamination from law enforcement personnel or even the forensic scientists sampling the item, even when the appropriate PPE has been worn. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Continue. limitations of this is why it's not very admissible. It's not really something that works out too much. That DNA that's on that sheath could be a problem for the prosecution easily. This is a hell of a theory though, Sleuth. Let's see what this shit says. All right, let's take it. It says, or perhaps the DNA profile is from advantage transfer from crime scene personnel, first responders, laboratory analysis, or crime scene equipment such as fingerprint brushes. Some evidence items are also not recommended for the collection of touch DNA samples. Such items include those that are severely degraded, for example, moldy clothing, has been exposed to extreme environmental conditions such as weapons left outside for months, or has been washed or heavily soaked in the victim's bodily fluids. Uh-oh. If it was underneath or even beside Maddie Mogan, who had just been slaughtered to fucking death, I'm pretty sure that she just got some other people's body soaked in bodily fluids. Wouldn't you agree? Wouldn't you agree? Or perhaps the DNA profile is from advantage transfer from a crime scene personnel, first responders, laboratory analysis, or crime scene equipment such as fingerprint brushes. So, okay, that's the same goddamn thing. What am I doing? Sleuthie, you had me reading the same fucking shit twice. God damn it. Here we go. Shout out to Sleuthie Goosie for this information, though. She's doing a hell of a job out there on these true crime streets. She's not doing too bad. Come on with the shit. I'm a busy man. Ah, shit. Okay, I shouldn't have paused it. Let me just get past it. I shouldn't have paused it. Fine. Here we go. Come on, Sleuth. So finally, when Bryan Kohberger finds out he delivered food, God damn it. Finally, when Bryan Kohberger figures out he delivered food to that house, he called police and told them that. Now, I don't know about that shit. This is a little left field, but I'm listening. Perhaps they interviewed him, and then she's showing this request number 19, all notes, recordings from all officers from the Moscow Police Department. This could explain, here we go with the theory, why the defense insists that there is exculpatory evidence, bam, why the defense powerfully asserts that they want Bethany to know what Bethany saw that night is exculpatory to the defendant and unique to her experience. Why the DoorDash driver wasn't named and redacted in the PCA. Why there's no mention of the DoorDash driver's car also being seen in the neighborhood on cameras. That's a hell of a point. Why recently there was unknown subscriber phone numbers sent to AT&T via search warrant. Why Bethany was purposely left out of the PCA in hopes that their exculpatory information would not see the light of day. Ooh. That's not... 7, a sudden grand jury indictment after Bethany is subpoenaed as a material witness for the defense. At the preliminary hearing. Now that, remember, we all asked, why is the defense subpoenaing her as a witness for the defense? What exculpatory information does Bethany have that would be good for Bryan Kohberger? I have to admit, this is convincing. I don't know, it's just a theory, she says. Good theory. Makes quite a lot of sense, though. 100% it does. Excellent. There's a few little things that's a little iffy, but in general, Sleuthie, you're a genius out here. And before you say it, the DoorDash driver was not cleared. She's going to show proof. This is the extent of the information we've been given about the DoorDash driver. It says law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. That's all that's been said about the DoorDash driver. And before you say the state is in possession of Bryan Kohberger's data, here's some things saying it there. It says, request 1, investigative reports and conclusions from all the cell phone analysis, including to, but not limited to, the FBI cache, all that shit. The FBI cache shit's important. So we got all these requests. Identity of the special agent, the FBI special agent, that is a member of the Caliber Analysis Survey Team, CAST. So it was the FBI that had all that information. Or the CAST, or whatever the fuck. Sleuthie's nailing it. He would need it in order to sort through it and prove it. That would make sense. And this is the information they're still not giving him. Kohberger don't even have his own goddamn phone records. So valid point. Valid point. Sleuthie. Killing it, killing it, killing it. Thoughts? I think you nailed it. I think you did a hell of a job, Sleuth, to be perfectly honest. I'm curious what my audience thinks. What do you think? Sleuthie does great work over there. What do you think of this theory? I hope Bryan Kohberger's not the DoorDash driver, because in my opinion, that would make him the killer. She almost assaulted me, though. Because I can genuinely see her point and her theory being the case. And maybe that does make sense on why Bethany Funk is so important to this case. Maybe he was the DoorDash driver, and maybe she is the one that took the bag. That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? I really hope Bryan Kohberger was not at that fucking house. But I will say something. In the PCA, when it was talking about how many times Bryan Kohberger had driven by that house, in their own words, there was plenty of times Bryan Kohberger had stayed for an hour. It also makes more sense that Bryan Kohberger might have been fucking someone over there or doing drugs with somebody, to be perfectly honest. Who goes and stalks someone's house and does drive-bys and then sits there for an hour? An hour? Read the PCA. When they're talking about the drive-bys by the house and how many times his phone pinged in the neighborhood. They'll say that one time it was from 11:27 to 12:36 or some shit. It was like on a Monday. I don't remember the date. Imagine that. I think it was in August. What would he be doing there for an hour? Unless he was hanging out in the neighborhood. Potentially the house. Potentially beating him some Bethany cakes. Just saying. Let me know what you guys think about this theory, about all of this. I think Sleuthie is on it. I still am not quite sold on it, but I think it's something to think about, right? And I think part of the whole innocent until proven guilty thing is we have to take all possibilities into consideration. Could he have been the DoorDash driver? The reason I think no is because I think he would have already admitted it. I think he would have already said, bro, I'm the fucking DoorDash driver. I think, maybe not though. Maybe the lawyer's saying you got to shut the fuck up till trial because they're going to pick this and this and this apart. I don't know, curious what you guys think. I think it's definitely a possibility, or this theory or something like this. When we're talking about the transfer of DNA, I think it's possible. Guys, I want to say thank you for taking the time to watch this today. If you like what I do here and you find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all that good shit. And if you're one of those people that keep getting triggered by my shit, suck my dick, man. I didn't invite you here. You don't like it, march your little asses out of here. I didn't invite you here. I don't need you here. Your subscription doesn't pay me. Your view doesn't pay me. I don't care if you're here. To those that do want to pay me, feel free to hit the links down below. Because those are the people I care about. The people that fucking like my shit and want to support it. And the people that want to keep coming back and they're not all triggered and butthurt. If you want bullshit, if you want non-offensive, if you want people that say unalived and SA, then go find the motherfuckers. That ain't what we do here. And no matter how limp-wristed you motherfuckers act, it ain't gonna change it. That's the truth, bitch. I'm JB Gunner. This is Crime Time. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.